Greetings, Dona, from the TNN podcast, the mothership TNN or then and now Media Empire. Today, now the 4th of December 2025. I know it's been a while. I've been off the camera, but the platform has been very much in the face of the general public and on the international stage as well. So there are a couple of things that's ongoing on in the background, but I am still with you guys. And as we go deep into as we did deep in the end of the year, I want for wish you all season greetings in advance. The conversation around we country, the shape and goodness of we country, they continue on every level. Today, we want to talk about the media and the significance of the media in a democracy. Very, very important indeed. The media also people can call the fourth estate, where the constitution even recognize. So I get a guest with me today who I'm going to introduce shortly, but I just want to make these statements around the media, okay? We know by now that the media are an essential pillar of a democracy. Not only we own democracy, but the word democracy as a whole and everywhere else USAI apply. It provides necessary information and platform for public engagement and accountability. Very, very significant portion. So you see, democracy not only apply to voting time. Where vote come, they can some politician and want tweet, and they begin come around, and when you don't vote for them, you take another 5 years or whatever circumstances the constitution call for regarding the next election. So the media is very important, and a public platform then such as ours. We know say some public officials them along with others them who are benefiting from one way or the other, then like for downplay, especially social media. But social media get the biggest audience now than mainstream media. And when I say mainstream media, I mean proper mainstream media like the CNNs, the MSNBCs, the Fox, and you name it. It's social media, and I make all the open social media accounts. So social media very important. So for those of you who are listening and we get for listening subsequently, una make sure say una know say the work we do, not a small work, and it's very much appreciated, and you get huge audience. Sometimes it's not about the live views. People that we can watch them, later. Now it really matter. But the focus today, now the significance and the challenges where journalists they face and how these issues must continue to be addressed. Important. And the reason why they stress on them is because in a democracy, this is not a cornerstone or a pillar of any democracy or country where they claim say then they practice democracy. Once again, the media they play a very crucial role in supporting democracy, and waiting will they do so, and especially right now inform the public, will they promote political participation, and above all, holding power to account where power itself not go lack. When you get power or talk to power, especially the way power not like the way you talk to them, they go talk back, and mostly you read the word empower and they use their power against you, which is the case here today. So now the role of democracy, information dissemination, facilitating political participation, accountability and scrutiny, and many, many more. Today, Fambulem, I get a legend. We would only run behind for a long time, but of course, miscommunication in one way or the other, and make we not able to forget this thing going for a long, long time. Over 2-3 years. But finally, we get on today on a very important subject matter, when are the issue of democracy and how the press they operate inside this democracy. And this we guest now Mr. Wilfred Kabs Kanu. Most people call him ambassador, and he will join we shortly. But whilst we wait for him for join we, he already did in the room. I think he should be with us shortly. And Mr. Kanu, when you come, just speak over me. Then I go recognize that you've come, and if you can adjust your light, if you hear me, because the room is gone dark. So in 1965, yeah, we also began the introduction under colonial independent times up to 2022. We been get an act, yeah, we been there in place of the act will come later in 2022. And that act they call on the Public Order Act of 1965. That Public Order Act they, it mean they hold or bring criminal libel suit against journalists them. We talk, on government issues. And once they talk on government issues, because first of all, now them business for whole government to account, for speak truth to power, for ask government for be accountable to the people and whether they can ask for their vote. You know they go down well with with government. So government make them legal for able for go after such people under the Public Order Act. We give them the power constitutionally through this act because now be loose thing, which means that if somebody not satisfied, somebody in power not satisfied with certain thing where you see, where you write, where you broadcast, where you report, then obviously they can bring the Public Order Act charge against you, which is some kind of seditious criminal libel upon you. Okay. And this thing continued for a long time now, the country. Imagine from 1965 until 2022, where the current government within a power decides they go change them. And this na in the irony, because the government see, and I've been campaign promised, by the way, and they talk about the SLPP stroke power government of retired Brigadier Julius Madabio. They see that this Public Order Act it no longer being a usefulness. And for they go charge people, especially journalists, them because they criticize government, that in itself became a problem. It was a real problem. And people don't begin to grumble. And what government can do skillfully is they can find a way for shape things around something where either don't outlive in usefulness or they get for reshape and for reflect modern times, which is something we then do with this Public Order Act by repealing, quite a strong word for repeal, and specifically than a part 5 of the Public Order Act, we being get something for do with seditious libel against potential journalists them. Now in them pool come out, and in its place came the 2020 act, we replace this draconian part 5 of the Public Order Act. So when the government repealed this, of course, people became overjoyed because this law, this Public Order Act, now be draconian law where they invent back in 1965 for try for quell down opposition to government. Because people get boku sense then 10 and day. I know they say people don't get sense now. What I mean, people were so politically conscious and then be know how for advocate for political change. Yeah, everything was decent in the sense that not to be mommy cost them in the use, for effect change. Okay, now through pen, where you can hear the pen is mightier than the sword. Through pen and then vocal, that's what they were using, and using the media as designated by the Constitution in terms of press freedom. That's what they were using. So when they begin for repress journalism and public action, where people they take, it became really bad, suppressing people and view. Whereas the Constitution provides a guarantee for assembly, freedom of speech. Now, you freedom of speech, well, you can say what you want for say, but after you don't say there is no guarantee. Yeah, it's the problem. So anyway, the act was repealed. And when this act was repealed, what can happen now is they replace them with this 2020 public, how you call them, the 2020 order, we replace them. So anyway, Let me see if Ambassador don't come. He just disappears suddenly. Ambassador, you hearing me, sir? Okay. He joined me, by the way, and then suddenly, apparently, maybe something else come up. So we'll see what happens anyway. Yeah. So the irony here is this current administration, this president, was the one responsible for repealing this draconian, this repressive law. This draconian, I repeat, this repressive law, and replace them with something else. Where people, of course, there were critical voices where voice out their opinion regarding this new one where they introduced, which was just like pouring in the estimation of some public voices, yeah, was like pouring old wine inside new bottle. Yeah, I think now that the exact idiom down there. Pouring new old wine inside new bottle. So the bottle give you this image of, like, say, it's all well and good, whereas the replacement is completely different. Yeah, completely different. Polish, highly glossed for big fool people, because this same law they now, and I make I say the irony, the man repeal the law, where them been fed draconian at the time, and now they find out say this replacement now pure intrusion. And in fact, to a sense that people are not really care any, they talk about the authorities, they're not really care again. Let me look at key developments here on the repeal of Part 5 of the Public Order Act of 1965. So we understand that, I don't say this and I'll say it again, that he removed the criminal libel from the country in statute, will remain the most significant and highly touted development for press freedom at the past 2 years. And this was back in 2022. So the paper go back, or the data go back as far as 2020. And this is now where you been get Minister Raman Soare as Minister of Information and Broadcasting, and then you been get Nasrallah, Ahmed Nasrallah, who was then the SLAJ Secretary General or President for SLAJ, then at the Journalists Association of Sierra Leone. A man will appear on this platform several times. Yeah. And we're very proud of that, because he talked to we, and this was an exhibition of press freedom, because that's what he was trying to exhibit, that we get this freedom that we can talk. But we know, say, at some point this platform became inconvenient for some people, because we were asking the hard questions. We were challenging, the things that will appear for be routine. We say, no, it cannot be the same. And we were doing follow-ups, hard follow-ups, not a give way. Some people and then me feel say, well, this kind of journalism, but most people don't be understand, because them is so old-fashioned in terms of the journalism we don't know, which is the journalist can't express his opinion. He can't hold authority to power in that sense. Whereas your duty now for inconvenient, your power by demanding answers to the questions the way they pose in behalf of the people. And that's what we were doing. But luckily, we know say a lot of people, you don't catch up now. So yeah, Mr. Ahmed Nasrallah did appear on this platform, and he talked a lot about this newfound freedom where people are not fair in terms of expression, because the Constitution, it does guarantee that. So we can go back to 2021, where the key highlight where come was passage of the Cybersecurity and Crime Act 2021 into law by the Parliament of Sierra Leone. And this again will be another critical term, because I remember critical voices such as mine, and I remember say the great Chairman of the Africanist Press doing a beautiful job. Of course, people like him fall back, because in website press, and there is an archive there where all the writings where the man and doing a mark, I don't forget the guy in last name, then do, is still there for people that for go do follow up, and no say people let me care then, and people let me they spot on and me get a hand or finger on the button. Okay, they expose the narrative of this new passage of the Cybersecurity and Crime Act, because basically government just they give itself more power in a different design for go after potential enemies. Because if you criticize them, let's say on the issue of corruption, imagine how much they harangue Chernobyl. Had he been there, well, probably the story would have been different, completely different. But of course, it was far away where he had the freedom to write and speak. And I was proud that at some point this platform get a collaboration with him. And you can't take that away because it's there. So anyway, then key development there has period and a lot of things happen since the passage of that law where it go into effect. Some people and them begin arrest people and 50 fatter. Now then say, but then just change this law for SAFU, this repressive one where they been get. How come now when the law change, the arrest it increase, the violations, the threats, all of it increase many fold. One of the earliest application what they do in terms of that law, they say so much they happen, so we cannot forget. If we remember, Alhaji Amadou Ba, commonly known as LAJ, now in arrest, and the reason why they arrest him, imagine this now the Cyber Security and Crime Act of 2021, now in begin for take place so, now in them begin for effect so. In other words, they do enough for send warning because again, like I say, smart minds they don't read into the Cyber Security and Crime Act where they can pass so. Not for limits like people like we will use media, microphone, camera, and use internet facilities, for talk to people them. Not so we then they can't target so. And lo and behold, an artist the way they express themselves through. So imagine an artist who expresses themselves, through songs, through art. All of them became targets and victims. And one of the very early people them, when they passed this law, now be LG. Now remember now, they jail him for quite a good while. They say what he do, he use a Facebook platform, he post insulting things them about Asma James. Now remember now, Asma James. And Asma James now turn out for be an ambassador. I mean, they serve now the chancery, I think now Belgium, and I think that embassy they represent a few other places. And this now possibly not sit down, not a diplomat, by the way. You see, these are all the things that we're talking about because in them position there, you find people them diplomacy na trade, na profession. When the diplomacy business be serious, because na career, na the word that they now want to use. You come from junior and then you become senior in a process. Then put you on a bench, you study, you learn. Where opportunity come, then send you to one of the neighboring countries, then Liberia, Guinea, Banjul, go do some understudy. They serve a period of time, 6 months, 9 months, whatever. And then you come, you don't get really experience in diplomacy. At the same time, you learn them, study them, or then send you abroad for can do really cause them whilst you mature. So till you begin to your transition into senior post, because then you don't understand the art of diplomacy. So anyway, una forgive me for the digression, but Nabi LJ, na in them bang arrest. Why? Because apparently, allegedly, he used in Facebook platform for insult journalist Asma James. We've been then 8.1. Very interesting. And we all know Asma James in connection. And in the end, they just proved that they not get the prerequisite as a diplomat, but she ended up being a diplomat. She's a diplomat, by the way, because now we carry diplomatic passport. There's no denial about that. She serves in the Sierra Leonean embassy as a diplomat. Imagine. I know the journalists can't do that, but we all know what will be the area and etc. etc. But anyway, the point here, no point intended, by the way, Asma. The point here is LJ was one of the first victims of this 2021 Cyber Security and Crime Act, like we've been already criticized. Yeah. So they use that video the way LJ do, where it describe Asma as a bastard picking. Of course, we need to use such language na this platform, not to think they entertain, and in any case, and neither do we endorse such a language being used against someone, more or less a woman, yeah, who was simply doing her job. So we said defend issue with that. Not waiting meet LGO. No. Not to how they handle them. it not be moral at all in terms of what LG do and say. Okay, it may need some discipline, but then through the cybercrime law at them, and we know what else be come, you know. So on all remember that day, threatening the woman that the next day go put peace in face. Now remember that, and this was on video. He could have been one, yeah. But obviously, lesson we need for set. We also need for know, because now the key development I want to tell you now leading up to the Cyber Crime and Security Act and the repeal of the Part 5 of the Public Order Act in 1965, yeah, back in 2020, yeah, we removed the criminal libel from the country in statute them, and it remains significant and highly acclaimed project or accomplishment of Mother Bureau in government. The only thing we spoiler is the new law is being used to abuse journalists and citizens them in general. If you remember back in May 26, 2022, the police then detained, you remember Sorisayo Sise, the journalist, Sorisayo Sise. So this is not new, by the way. There is so much. Sorisayo Sise now be a private owner of I don't know how to pronounce the word Oketuhun Radio. Yeah, Oketuhun Radio. When I've been some FM base radio, Usai, now the north of Sierra Leone. Which part now the north of Sierra Leone? Na Kamakwe. Okay. Police arrest them. Waiting they do, or waiting they arrest them, then say they arrest them for. Then accuse them of doing a follow-up. Let me see if Ambassador. Ambassador, are you there? Ambassador Kabs? Okay, something must be terribly wrong. So I'm going to remove him and kick him off the studio. So maybe he will come back and sign in. Yeah. Una forgive me for that. Yeah. Una can see he signed on a day, but for some reason just disappeared off screen. So they accuse him of forwarding comments about the alleged killing of a taxi driver by the police. Una remember this na journalist who investigate. He put out a story about the alleged killing of a taxi driver by the police. What did they do? They bang them arrest, they harass them, and normally they can just take you into a jail. Like what happened quite recently from the journalist, what the man name? Emmanuel Alpha Toli. And hopefully maybe we'll get a picture of Usai. He was tortured. You can see in Usai and put the handcuff and the finger, they're all wounded. Hopefully before I end this program, we will see. Do not forget for tuning on Sunday. We get William of Stay Red Movement. And they can't talk about Samora. Why Samora need for give up now? Samora need for move on. Yeah, because they're holding your own party to hostage. Yeah. So yeah, we lost you for a while. We call you, but apparently you just disappear off screen.
Yeah,
but it's good to have you.
Technical problem.
Oh, technical problem. Okay, I know that. I make I kick you out, but normally then you will come back in. Yeah. So I mean, I don't talk lengthily about the program. So and I get for let you go because you get another program for go to. So we roughly get about 20-25 minutes. Let me see if I can run through some quick things then. And because we talk about the media side and you're very experienced in the media, I want to ask you first of all about media freedom. What do you think? Is it being curtailed according to your own thinking, your own thoughts? Is media freedom being curtailed in Sierra Leone now as we speak?
Yes, I mean it's being curtailed because as you don't say, I'm glad the way you go a long way for explain the history of that 1965 Act, Section 5 of them, where they make like say they repeal them. Down they aiming criminalize libel. So libel have been criminal case, you know. If you get both criminal and civil case, but you get more of libel, criminal libel. But now, they make them, they say they don't repeal them, they don't remove them. But what they do, now skill them play. They remove that uniform and then get that international acclaim. When the international world say, oh, the one and the democratic. But then they go replace them with that that cyber terrorism. We in WhatsApp, that 2021 cyber terrorism, in WhatsApp, because down there, you're not free at all. Anything you say, once they take and say now, something we therefore do terrorism, or go likely cause discontent, or go likely lead to chaos, then go arrest you. And the penalty is stiff. Just like that, the one with them, and then repeal. You see, so no difference, no day at all. In fact, this one in WhatsApp, because in those days now, just in print, we didn't write in print, and but now even your Facebook page now, then they monitor it. Then they monitor even your social, your WhatsApp, you know. So any small mistake when make them arrest you, then say you don't violate the Anti-Terrorism Act. You see, so there is a repression of the media, which everybody knows. It's happening. The media is being repressed in Sierra Leone. There has never been press freedom under this government. There has never been. You know?
Yeah, Ambassador. The obviously we talk about the 65, you know, Act, the Public Disorder Act, which was kind of repressive. And I mean, Alex say don't outlive in age. So therefore, then bring this new one where you just talk about. But my question to you, were you suspicious at the time? Because there were a few people who were suspicious. We say, no, this cannot be right. I mean, just want to pick your mind and see where you stood then, where all of this been happening with this.
Oh, well, I mean, if you read me newspaper, I get a newspaper Kokoyoko, which of course one of the biggest and most widely read Sierra Leone newspaper there. If you read that, you go see a lot of articles on the right. I express that suspicion that say they were always in the try for make like saying and they not removed that 1965 draconian act there. Now just waiting the fair for fool the public. I said, but then go come up with something else. We probably go be worse than this. Because our government will not make criticize them. They don't make people know the truth. They don't make people give any information. They want to make people in the prison all the time. You know? So definitely so then even when they bring this new act, I raise concern. If you go to my paper, you will see them. I raise concern. I say, it looks like they don't replace this year with an even worse act, this Anti-Terrorism Act, because now they can hold you for anything you say now. You know, you're not get for attack the government, but they can even talk say, well, they make this in broad self. This in broad.
Yeah.
You know, this in broad pass out of oneself. So now they can hold you for anything. Not like we even explain about LHA. You know? LJ na somebody somebody we did a radio station, 9 LJ attack. You know, but they arrest them for that. But that Draconian Act 1965, now where you attack the government or a functionary of the government and then say you say something where will likely cause disaffection, then they go arrest you. But this one now, even outside people, they say they can arrest you for that. You see? So it broad now and more dangerous. Yeah.
Okay. Many thanks for that, Ambassador. Another question to you is, you know, normally you can get body there working police, sort of institution there where they create or laws them, you know, for make sure say there's some process of accountability and clarity and etc. Or we go hold the institution there to account and let them provide some explanation as to pertaining the things them within they do. In this regard, I want to ask you again on your thoughts and opinion, because you widely read on the Independent Media Commission. What do you make of this?
The Independent Media Commission, I mean, where President Kababi set up that commission, it been a very good intention for regulate the media, for make sure say they follow the ethics, because journalism now a profession. You know, you get ethics where you get for follow. Then set up for make sure say able to follow the ethics of profession, the law them, and everything. But now you find out say this government they use down there also as another weapon for get our journalists them. You know, Sierra Leone, we can always say this, if Sierra Leone get for go forward, we get for improve the institutions then. Like this this media organization where they talk about, we get for improve the judiciary, parliament, the media, the PPRC, the elections commission, all the institutions they get for be strong. Yeah. But outside them weak, and outside the government and the other government in control, it go out from a democracy day. So the IMF, the IMC, they under the control of the government. So there's no way it go be independent, because the people that they appoint to the commission are people that way belong to the party. Now not need them for don't do them from now independent body I mean for the appoint people to that commission. So then we appoint people in the community we're not politically aligned. But now all the people when they appoint, they are politically aligned. So you know go get any independence as they want prisoner or independent media commission. It will not be independent. It will be it's politicized. It is partisan. You see, so you know the IMC have not play its own role. It's not play the role that it was set up to perform.
Yeah, Ambassador. So again, when it comes to the media, like you say something really interesting and very, very important as to how the media itself is supposed to rise above all of these challenges, or even though it's not easy. But one of the things that we suppose they hold the media back, or media organizations, is them they actually they struggle, especially when it comes to financing. Because you depend on you're not a newspaper man, you get one of the biggest widely read newspaper, and most newspaper then they depend on adverts, and if they say the right thing, you won't get no advert, which means that you'll be pushed out of business. How do you think they can overcome that kind of challenges there in the society?
Well, I'm glad you bring a very important point. The media not as financially strong as it is. I get some copies of them now, you see. Because they receive this alone newspaper there regularly. So this is Night Watch, this is Awoko, this is Standard Time. If you look at the paper there, you find out say some of them when they get content, they get interesting content and enough. But many of them they're full of advertisements. Because these people then they not get enough money for buy newsprint, for use for go pay printers. So they depend on the government for give their advertisement and so on. Then the ministries, the departments, the agencies, the MDAs, then depend on them for give their advertisement. So they're gonna be very cautious, not for tread on the feet of the government, because they're not saying they do one, then go cut off their source of advertisement. So now make you find out say that way the Sierra Leone media be strong first them.
Yeah.
Like that the era the way they talk about 65, 66. We can not say 64, 65, 66, when they're ready for that 67 election. That powerful election, they will change things not alone. The media have been very strong. They've been strong to the point that they refer to Sierra Leone as the Fleet Street of West Africa.
Yeah, we'll go up to read that,
Yeah. Because the media have been strong in those days. We may get paper the way, like Shekpen there, Awoko, they may get Think, they may get Scope, they may get all the newspaper and those people.
Daily Mail.
Yes, Daily Mail, I mean, independent. Daily Mail be even though the Daily Mail start as an independent paper, really, it not been too politicized. But now way Sir Albert Magai buy him. I think he buy him 1964. 9 years. Albert Magai make the government buy him. He bring under the control, because they may get this Daily Mirror group when they may get Daily Mail. And then be independent.
Yeah.
Then they may support government. They not may attack governments as such. But at the same time, they not may support them. But now 1964, Sir Albert decided to make the government buy the Daily Mail. So from that way, the government buy the Daily Mail now be they support the opposition anymore. Now all in the government line and the watch. But then we got other people there will be really strong. Even this we own have been very strong. You know, even the
Yes, we
executive
own.
newspaper Unity is have been
Yeah.
strong. Then we
And
get
you
the
get very
People.
good journalists as well at the
Yeah,
time,
in
reputable
those
ones, the
days,
med
you
scribes.
see,
And yeah.
they were strong. They're not been dependent on government. Like, the problem is that
Yes, I remember
I don't
the
know how long they
columns like
do.
the grapevine and things like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're not been dependent on the government too much. So because of that, they attack they attack. Even though that 1965 act be still there, like people like Taki, people like Sam Meziga, people like
Yeah.
Sam Hollist, people like this man, Ibrahim Taki, I mentioned his name. They wanted them Sarif Ismon, Dr. Sarif Ismon. They wanted them really they take the government to task. You see? Because in those days they're not being dependent on the government. But now because of this situation, where the people that not get money, they get for depend on the government. Obviously, they get for excessive. Not to all of them go be strongly opposed to the government, because if they do them, their source of income and they not go get them. You see, so now the problem now.
Yeah, Ambassador. At the opening of the program, we talk about the curtailing of media freedom. Of course, where me and you share the thought is mutual anyway on that. Yeah, but the increasing damage to public trust in journalism as well. It's so obvious. It's an age of dissemination of news, but then you can get news saturation, in which sometimes it's the bad guys that prevail, because they can saturate the media with all kind of rubbish news that it can somehow drown, the good news, and you get for such deep for Fenham. So this they create some public trust in journalism and in democracy as a whole, because you find out say this information they at play with real information. And then I would like to let you talk on that, and also the prevalence of physical threats to journalists themselves, sir.
Okay, first of all, the reason why they almost accept one fact, say the quality of journalism may go down. You know, even during colonial times, that Sierra Leone Weekly News, the Daily Mail, the Guardian, that ITA Wallace Johnson, also they work for the West African pilots. So all the people, they've been very stronger, But these are journalists. They're not just gap them be journalists. But we now, what do you make the quality of journalism poor now? Now anybody can just gap no more and call himself an editor-in-chief, and then set up newspaper. We own days not so. Even some of we say we work long under people. Work under Clarence Labor of the Sierra Leone Daily Mail. I work under Sam Meziga, of we own.
Yeah, we own. I still remember in column them. Yeah.
Yes, the Nation. In fact, Sam Meziga began as editor of Unity. Then after the coup, he changed the paper to the Nation. Then later on now Sheki can talk to her. Where Sheki come to power. Sheki can talk to us and make to we own. But all these people, before they became journalists, they serve in the media. They start as corp reporter there, when they send out, then they study all the other areas of journalism. So they understand the craft, because journalism is a craft. They understand the craft of journalism,
Yeah.
So because of that, they were experienced people. They understand the journalism. But nowadays, the moment when they come now, we see one person geographer and say, "Oh, I will make a big editor," and they go pay me on newspaper. You don't understand journalism. You don't understand how to write. You don't understand how to put information together. We go make and people they read the paper, they give the paper credibility. All they do now then sensational news. Then they look for. They just sensationalize everything. So because of that, you find out say the journalist himself he lose in credibility, because people in find out say, "Oh, they enjoy the rights, all kind of wishy-washy things, just sensational thing, never go make the paper sell." So actually the quality of journalism go down. But at the same time again, they not go support that physical assault on them. They're not for assault them, because they self get a role in the play somehow. I don't care how newspaper bad, it gets some role the way they play, because the media is very, very significant to the nation. Now through the media, and they provide information, you know, without the media, we're not going to get information. Things that will happen, we're not going to know. Then I told the media also the opinion they wouldn't express.
Yeah.
You know, if the government can mind, if the government's sensible, what they go do? Then go they listen to what in the media and they talk, and through that they're able to tailor down how they rule. Because on the media things, on the opinion them, then editorial, then when they write, then op-ed articles them, all that they. I mean, they give good ideas them about how to govern, about governance, about human rights, you know, about ruling justly, about accountability, about transparency, you know. So a government who want for really do well, it go listen to the media. They're not gonna be civil about them, because actually, when you look at it, if I mean, okay, I mean they talk about America, that First Amendment, you know, they get right for publish. There's a right. There's a human right for express your opinion. That freedom of speech. You can express your opinion. If somebody they rule you and then they pay that person for rule you, why you not for express yourself if the person not they do right? Why they forbid you? They're not supposed to forbid anybody. That is wrong. Now a human rights violation, you know, where it can make sense if another government come to power, we radical, they can go back and look at all the cases they did and arrest on people when they beat journalists because they're not supposed to do it.
Absolutely.
You know? Yes. They're not supposed to do that because the journalists they get right. They get a human right for freedom of speech, freedom of the press. You know, you can't take them away from them. And it's now a constitutional right. It ain't not the constitution. So how you go beat somebody for something where the constitution get a right for them?
Exactly.
You know? Because
so I mean, Ambassador, touch on this quickly, you know, because there are few things for cover. We will get like few minutes left because I have to let you go. But what you just say lastly, I mean, this is not the question what I want to ask you about. In fact, now I've been one end on, but since you and Kala just deal with that one time about this impunity. I mean, the Constitution provides some guarantee for these journalists to do them work. Yet when they do them work, the Constitution still cannot, protect them. Instead, they are being abused, violated, threatened, intimidated, and not only them. Sometimes the extension go to the family. I mean, what is this, and how can this be handled?
Well, just as I said earlier, we need strong institutions, strong, credible institutions. Because if the judiciary they work, if parliaments they work, you know. But let's start with the judiciary first of all. If the judiciary they work, then go able to tell them people I say because then about them go appeal, they can appeal. Now court say, well, this actually they want to take against me, you know, I appeal against her. Then the judiciary go tell the government, say, no, we're not supposed for go beat this newspaper editor. So when they make una pay damages to them, maybe in some cases $1 million or so, or we're not supposed to close their office, or we're not supposed to stop them for cut off them, you know. So if we get strong, credible institution there, then that problem they go be solved. But we'll not get them, we'll not get the institution there. Because the judiciary now pro-government. If they beat them about self, then go then jail they say then go court. The court they support the government. You see? So
yes, sir.
And I made that impunity there because the impunity there because the government knows when they go to court, the people they're not go get rights. They're not go defend their rights. The courts are all politicized. That's the problem.
Yeah, which is very true. I wish we can get time, but like I say again, this is our first collaboration. I hope for host you more and more. You know, you have for tap into your experience, and so we'll continue for speak to the public because again, this is not the political side of things. We know say this is what we want. We want some independence in terms of institutions. You know, the three arms of government can function and complement each other, but they're separate and independent. But it's not happening. You know, there's this general impunity, which in itself is a problem. Ambassador, it's obvious that the government of Sierra Leone has made overtures to the press, both in the past and in the now. That sometimes you can see them can get in our job business, government and the press, where the park in win and come and make speech and people then fall in the jollof rice and then the park, give them change. And these are attempts, for build a kind of relationship or improve because the relationship at some point was really bad. So for improve the relationship. And to some extent, I mean, Sludge did say the relationship is improved, then they do well now and etc. But there's always been the suspicion in the public, in the eye of the public, that it's not just, a dash in the frying pan, just public relations. Because the real truth is the government is in control and you still can't say what you want for say. Where do you see sludge in this? Or let me ask you as a journalist, what's your opinion about sludge? I know they ask for slander per se, and you're not going to do that. But I just they ask, over the few years, how they've walked their way through difficult times, because you're up against treachery. Let's just call it as it is. You're up against people who will not hesitate or take action against you. And we say this because we've got the receipts. Yeah.
Well, you see,
you view about
that's like again. That's like again when it was founded. The role of Sludge for protect journalists them against the government. I think the first president of that Sludge now being Sameziga. Now that area did Sameziga in time. Then start that Sludge with the hope that it could be some kind of umbrella organization. We go work with the media and support them and protect them from the government. But you find out that, just as you said, they say now, the government don't infiltrate every institution. Some of the people where they be president of Sludge, now people there will get ties to the government. You see, especially this government, where President Ernest Nkrumah began in power, I don't know, because for some reason, I don't know what happened at Salom in the 90s to the early 2000s. You find out that people there we've connected with SLPP, then take over the media. Every side you will find that people already support APC. Most of the editors and people already support SLPP. I don't know why APC went to sleep at that time. They allowed them to for taking over the media. You see? So most of them people are waiting on that Sludge deal, where they come forward for be president of Sludge, this and that. Most of them are people that were aligned to SLPP, even if they're not sure. Even if they're not sure, some of them need to try. They can try for disguise them. But we know say then they in favor of the government. Because things that happen where they for take more action. For instance, if the government pass mark man, then get that right for saying what they give the government a blackout. We know the right nothing but the government.
Exactly.
Media blackout. We will make people are not going to know what the government they do because they're only through the media. If every media, the newspaper there, the television there, the radio station, they all work together, then say, okay, this government, because they know they support democracy, will they give them blackout? It will work. But will they do it? They will not. Because some of them are members of the government, some of them secretly they support the government. You see? So it's difficult. You see? So that's like all them things they get for revolutionize them. Or make sure say go to no more SLPP people and no more for full the rank and file of the organization. But APC self and C4C, NGC, they forget supporter the day. That way you will get independence. That way you will get credibility to it. But right now, it seems like an arm of the government. Sludge is an arm of the government to me. So that's the problem.
That is exactly the problem. That's exactly the problem, Ambassador. A lot of people definitely will agree with you, sir. There is deep corruption, like a cesspit, a pool of corruption that exists within these very organizations. So they are easily, like you say again, standard has dropped, quality has dropped. So you find anybody who can just be editor today, maybe crown himself, he gets small money, or he gets somebody way back among they open a news outlet, and because then they can't no more now for can sing praise government, and there it is. And according to the stories then what we read, whenever it to the issue of this cooperation what I talk about, most times, not all of the time, the cooperation what I talk about between government sources or government itself and the media, i.e. representative of the media, general media side. Now, because there is some incentive, in other words, let's say the last time we meet, not to the last time we meet, but a while ago, there was money provided by the international community, the World Bank, $50 million, because they attach seriousness, and I don't say this in a story where they attach seriousness.
Yes, I know. Yes,
to the development of breast.
Yeah.
How the money they can pass, because you're a man from the inside anyway with a wealth of knowledge. How the money they can pass, and the same money we meant for them, and they use back for bribe them, for do the bidding.
Yes, then they use for bribe them. Then they know they give the money to every media. The media they wouldn't know say they criticize them. Like these people, so this Night Watch, Awareness Times, and other people they wouldn't know say not they in favor of them. I'm sure they're not they give them for that money. They.
Yeah, no,
they give them. Then get the people. In fact, now the Ministry of Information now they control. And say the Ministry of Information are an arm of the government. So then go all out for make sure say if some money within they receive, I'm sure that they suppress and people know they know. Because after the war, international organizations they support Sierra Leone, even the media, then they send money, but we know they know because all they go to the government, and when the government gets out, all in their own cronies. That cronyism, all in their own cronies, now the media, and then they enjoy them. You see? So that's the problem.
That's very correct. Let me just cover one or two things quick and then let you go.
Okay.
Recently there is some brouhaha na Tongue, of course, between two sides. And this side now, one way, the Night Watch newspaper, one of the journalists, Mr. Emmanuel Alpha Toli, was arrested allegedly for writing something where somebody no like.
Yeah.
So he was picked up, thrown into jail for 8 days. 8 days without charges. I think on the 8th day, on the 9th day, which was the day before yesterday, they invite an accord, they arrange an court. They go to court and not call the case. Then to where back in jail at the end of that session, they when they not call the case for another week. The magistrate actually tell and say they go take another week. I mean, what's going on? What do you make of all this, bro? I don't say we don't talk about this.
Well, just ask you about that impunity. You know, me, I feel say again, even the international community itself, I go blame them. Now, wait, time not there for make a talk. I they blame the international community because it tell me the way them they do that oversight. When international community they do an oversight of democracy, now the third world, then self go take stand against government for them in the. But then self because of their own problems, because then self then they slide pan democracy. They're not to the provider oversight anymore. So because of that, the government is doing it what they feel for do. If you right say okay, say diplomatic passports then they are the hands of people there where they're not supposed to them in the hands. I for go investigate. If we take that as a good information with the media give, and you say okay, now for go investigate for make sure say the diplomatic passports are being given to the right people. But they go hold the man and arrest and say because of that, the information. Now the man in job, journalists and then job for inform the public. Now then job for make sure say they hold the government to account. You see? So all the articles then they provide information, then they hold the government to account. They're not supposed to arrest them for that. That was not supposed to be arrested.
That's very true, Ambassador. Within a political context, Ambassador, how true is this statement that most media outlets then fall outside the direct control by politicians, and by law, they are only allowed to create newspapers and not radio stations or TV channels?
Well, yes, because as I said, the government in hand parliament, all that they then forget independent commission there, independent organization there, when they regulate anything there, where if somebody apply for go set up a newspaper, now independent body.
Well, ironically, you get the word independent and you get the organization called the IMC, the Independent.
Ironic, right? Ironic. I mean, because how do they call themselves independent, but they are controlled by the government? We need a truly independent organization where now in they do oversee all the things in there, so that when somebody go what they call a radio station, they not go ask and say, which party you align to, or maybe they not ask yourself, but then suspects you already say you go to SLPP, you're supposed to the ruling government. It can be something during APC time. I know you only attack SLPP. But this thing can be even during APC time. If now APC they in power, for instance, then somebody want to go to radio station, then go say, well, you know, maybe the commissioner of the IMC, because now APC supporter, he go try for say, well, let people have them for getting a license. The government say go, maybe I might lose my job. You see?
Yeah.
Then job they're not sensitive, job they're not secure. Because if they go allow certain people and for go set up radio, and then people when they get attack the government and then they go blame. You see? So that's how they get for protecting their jobs. So that interference, that independence, not there, that separation of powers, 9-4 force. If that separation of powers there, then the independent organizations, the independent institutions, then you know, then people then go free for give decision and when they go able give. But now they cannot do it because they are afraid of their jobs. They will lose their jobs. They could even arrest some of them. You see? So these are the problems.
I have to let you go, but not after I share this screen with you. And if you can just talk on this quickly, in which this now the institution we're responsible and call Media Without Borders.
Okay.
It's an international reputable, and of course you will know them. So the media sector is diverse and generally independent. At the end of 2022, Sierra Leone had a total of 531 media outlets consisting of 228 radio stations, 242 newspapers, 24 magazines, 26 local TV stations, and 11 digital satellite TV stations. Although many of them were operating irregularly alongside the state-owned broadcaster, SLBC, the leading privately owned media outlets are the AY TV channel, the Democracy radio station, and the Awoko and Standard Times daily newspaper, so forth and so on, blah, blah, blah. The question I want to ask, what I want to let you intimate on is, with so much media, you know, growing outlets, of course, some of them irregular, but this is a massive number of outlets in a population of 8 million people, I think 32,000 square miles, and etc. Is it for good or for bad, or how is it playing out? And if it's playing out for the bad, why is it, and how can it be turned around?
Well, again, as I said, the media sector for regulate itself. You know, even though they talk against government interference into it, you know, not some people in the way they come into this journalism, and they can put the media in name. You know, it is good. It is very good to have media. We can have as many. If I look at small country like Gambia, I mean, they read one book. They say Gambia get more media past Sierra Leone. Imagine how small Gambia is. You know, so the number of media will get it no matter as long as freedom of speech there, as long as democracy they prevail. It no matter, you know. So it can be good or bad. But the good side of it is that it can make the country develop fast, because through that, then the involvement of the media, they make institutions in the work, they make everybody doing work fine, you know. But at the same time, also, if we're not careful, whether they will get licensed to at the same time again, then we'll go bring people and come, we can destroy the credibility of the media. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Ambassador, final question, sir. How hopeful are you for your country on a scale of 1 to 10? Optimistic, pessimistic?
Well, optimistic. I believe so, because we do well. You know, we do very well. Although things are not being perfect, not being 100% perfect. But after the war, we did well during the reign of President Ahmad Tijan Kaba, and during the reign of President Ernest Bai Koroma. You know, I'm not saying that they were perfect, but at least we do well. But now, after 2018, there was a serious relapse. You know, there was a relapse in democracy. You know that. No, we get free elections then during Kabine time, then during Ernest Koroma time, the election will be announced to power. The election where we move APC from power. You know, you could say that they were free and fair elections. But now, look at what is happening. Look at what happened in 2023. You see? So there is cause for concern. But more continue, they tell me people there, more continue to get hope. You know? Because one day a president will come, we go change everything we matter you don't do. and bring we back to which we be before, after the war. So I feel so for be optimistic.
Yes, Ambassador Wilfred Kanu, many thanks. I mean, there's so much I intended asking you. In fact, before I come on the floor with you, I get a friend of mine where they watch the program now, got Thomas Rogers, when they say Ambassador been there Liberia, and I was in Liberia for many years. Before native years, that's where, So maybe we'll talk about that at a later date. But I really do appreciate you coming on the platform for the first time, and I hope say this not to the last.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anytime,
I'm available at any time.
All right, Ambassador. I appreciate that, sir. Have a good evening. Bye. Thank you. Okay, that was me and Ambassador Wilfred Kabs Kanu, a veteran journalist, and I'm really happy that he made it to the show and we discussed these things. And for the few people that will participate, Nabi Toure, Alimatu Dimonekene Mbe, God Thomas Roji. Thank you very much for coming on. And there are a few others. But thank you so much to you all for coming on. On Sunday, I get William of the Stay Red movement on Sunday, 9 o'clock, I believe. 9 o'clock. We'll talk about Samora. Few things, Samora and Eskoroma, but specifically Dr. Samora Kamara. Time to bow out, time to come out and tell the people the fact, and time for move on. Stop holding the party to ransom, and just come out and say the truth. Thank you so much to you all. Till we catch up again, happy Christmas in advance. This has been a TNN podcast. Prince Emil Krumah. They say tata for now. Goodbye.